Hi, I'm Brian Mahoney, and in this video, I give you the advice you need for guidance in finding the right job or career opportunities for you. Use this info to help in your career development or to maybe take a different career path. I will be posting all types of careers to choose from: freelance jobs, work from home jobs, government jobs, and federal jobs, and much, much more. So, subscribe, and share with all your family and friends who could use a little career counseling. Today, I'll show you how to become it. Next, we quickly cover the work environment. Third, you'll learn how much the pay or salary is. And finally, and maybe most importantly, what is the job outlook for this occupation? So, let's get started. How to become one. Flight attendants receive training from their employer and must be certified by the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA. Flight attendants need a high school diploma or the equivalent and work experience in customer service. Applicants must be at least 18 years old, be eligible to work in the United States, have a valid passport, and pass a background check and drug tests. They must have vision that is correctable to at least 20/40 and often need to conform to height requirements set by the airline. Flight attendants also may have to pass a medical evaluation. Flight attendants should present a professional appearance and not have visible tattoos, body piercings, or an unusual hairstyle or makeup. Education. A high school diploma is typically required to become a flight attendant. Some airlines may prefer to hire applicants who have taken some college courses. Those who work on international flights may have to be fluent in a foreign language. Some enroll in flight attendant academies. Work experience in a related occupation. Flight attendants typically need 1 or 2 years of work experience in a service occupation before getting their first job as a flight attendant. This experience may include customer service positions in restaurants, hotels, or resorts. Experience in sales or in other positions that require close contact with the public and focus on service to customers also may help develop the skills needed to be a successful flight attendant. Training. Once a flight attendant is hired, airlines provide their initial training ranging from 3 to 6 weeks. The training usually takes place at the airline's Flight Training Center and is required for FAA certification. Trainees learn emergency procedures such as evacuating aircraft, operating emergency equipment, and administering first aid. They also receive specific instruction on flight regulations, company operations, and job duties. Toward the end of the training, students go on practice flights. They must complete the training to keep a job with the airline. Once they have passed initial training, new flight attendants receive the FAA certification of demonstrated proficiency and continue to receive additional on-the-job training as required by their employer. Licenses, certifications, and registrations. All flight attendants must be certified by the FAA. To become certified, flight attendants must complete their employer's initial training program and pass an exam. Flight attendants are certified for specific types of aircraft and must take new training for each type of aircraft on which they are to work. In addition, attendants receive recurrent training every year to maintain their certification. Advancement. Career advancement is based on seniority. On international flights, senior attendants frequently oversee the work of other attendants. Senior attendants may be promoted to management positions in which they are responsible for recruiting, instructing, and scheduling. Important qualities. Attentiveness. Flight attendants must be aware of any security or safety risks during the flight. They also must be attentive to passengers' needs in order to ensure a pleasant travel experience. Communication skills. Flight attendants should speak clearly, listen attentively, and interact effectively with passengers and other crew members. Customer service skills. Flight attendants should have poise, tact, and resourcefulness to handle stressful situations and address passengers' needs. Decision-making skills. Flight attendants must be able to act decisively in emergencies. Physical stamina. Flight attendants push, pull, and carry service items, open and close overhead buns, and stand and walk for long periods. Work environment. Flight attendants held about 102,000 jobs in 2020. The largest employers of flight attendants were as follows: scheduled air transportation, 95%, non-scheduled air transportation, 2%, support activities for air transportation, 1%. Flight attendants work primarily in the cabin of passenger aircraft. Dealing directly with passengers and standing for long periods can be stressful and tiring. Occasionally, flights encounter air turbulence, which can make providing service more difficult and causes anxiety in some passengers. Handling emergencies and unruly customers can be difficult and cause stress. Flight attendants spend many nights away from home and often sleep in hotels or apartments shared by a group of flight attendants. Injuries and illnesses. Flight attendants have one of the highest rates of injuries and illnesses of all occupations. To avoid injuries, these workers must follow safety procedures. For example, they must ensure that overhead compartments are closed, especially during turbulence, so that carry-on items don't fall and present a risk to all in the cabin. Attendants also ensure that carts are properly stowed and latched during aircraft emergencies to avoid injuries to passengers and themselves. Work schedules. Flight attendants usually have variable schedules. They often work nights, weekends, and holidays because airlines operate every day and have overnight flights. In most cases, a contract between the airline and the flight attendant union determines the total daily and monthly workable hours. A typical on-duty shift is about 12 to 14 hours per day. However, duty time can be increased for international flights. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, requires that flight attendants receive at least 9 consecutive hours of rest following any duty period before starting their next duty period. Attendants usually fly 75 to 100 hours a month and generally spend another 50 hours a month on the ground preparing flights, writing reports, and waiting for aircraft to arrive. They can spend several nights a week away from home. During this time, employers typically arrange hotel accommodations and a meal allowance. Some flight attendants work part-time. An attendant's assignments of home base and route are based on seniority. New flight attendants must be flexible with their schedule and location. Almost all flight attendants start out working on call, also known as reserve status. Flight attendants on reserve usually live near their home airport because they may have to report to work on short notice. As they earn more seniority, attendants may have more control over their schedules. For example, some senior flight attendants may choose to live outside their home base and commute to work. Others may choose to work only on a regional flight. On small corporate airlines, flight attendants may work on an as-needed basis. Pay and salary. The median annual wage for flight attendants was $59,000 in May of 2020. The median wage is the wage at which half the workers in the occupation earned more than that amount and half earned less. The lowest 10% earned less than $30,000, and the highest 10% earned more than $84,000. In May 2020, the median annual wages for flight attendants in the top industries in which they work were as follows: scheduled air transportation, $59,000; non-scheduled air transportation, $57,000; support activities for air transportation, $48,000. Flight attendants receive an allowance for meals and accommodations while working away from home. Although attendants are required to purchase an initial set of uniforms and luggage, the airlines usually pay for replacements and upkeep. Flight attendants generally are eligible for discounted airfare or free standby seats through their airline. Attendants typically fly 75 to 100 hours a month and usually spend another 50 hours a month on the ground, preparing flights, writing reports, and waiting for planes to arrive. They can spend several nights a week away from home. Most work variable schedules. Some flight attendants work part-time. Job outlook. Employment of flight attendants is projected to grow 30% from 2020 to 2030, much faster than the average for all occupations. About 17,600 openings for flight attendants are projected each year. On average, over the decade, many of those openings are expected to result from the need to replace workers who transfer to different occupations or exit the labor force, such as to retire. Employment. Much of the projected employment growth in this occupation is due to the recovery from the COVID-19 recession that began in 2020 and is likely to occur early in the decade. A return to normal patterns of travel following the COVID-19 pandemic will support job growth of flight attendants who will continue to be needed to ensure the safety and comfort of passengers on flights. Job interview? There's no stress for you. Just excitement that you will crush your next job interview with confidence and ease because you have the audiobook Job Interview Prep Book for Men, Women, and Teens. You'll be able to answer the tough questions and handle your interview with confidence and ease. And right now, Amazon and Audible are offering a free trial. But don't wait. You'll wait your life away. Just hit the link in the description and get started right now.